Glory, glory to all Manchester United fans. Welcome back to a fresh new episode of Knock Off the Perch, where we talk everything Manchester United. We are back fresh from a 4-0 dominating victory against Everton. Ruben Amorim's first home game. Brilliant way to start. They say start as you mean to go on. I don't think he could have asked for a better start. He himself was delighted at the win, but said there is room for improvement. Welcome back, Aruj. What were your thoughts on the game?
Well, all in all, 4-0 victory. I think we hadn't won by 4 goals in a long, long time. There were the entire army on Twitter that came out saying the last match that we won by 4 goals was possibly against Leeds, which was the first game of the season, the day Varane was unveiled. Obviously, in the Premier League, we had that 7-0 win against Barnsley in the League Cup. So it's a good sign. This team was a little relentless before we made all those changes in the build up to the Arsenal game. So that was always good. But as Amorim pointed out, it was not all hunky dory in the lead up to the 4 goals that came in. There was that phase around the 10th to 30th minute mark where Everton were all over us. I think a couple of times our academy product McNeil pretty much broke through our midfield, and that is a worrying sign. And I think this team, obviously, I think they had 4 shots at that point in time in that phase in between, and only got one shot on target, which was easily saved by Onana. But a good team will probably do much more than that. So yeah, that is something we'll need to be wary of. What do you think?
No, definitely. I think there were room for improvement in the whole game as a whole. Possession wise, I think we kept good possession even after scoring. But my favorite part of the game, although, was second half. We come in, we are at a 2-0,
Yeah,
cruising win, and we score within 20 seconds. This was our fastest goal in the second half, by the way. Like he crossed Paul Scholes' record. He broke Paul Scholes' record. Paul Scholes had scored 23 seconds into the second half against Newcastle.
yeah.
And this was 20 seconds into, we gain possession and we break forward. It was a brilliant piece of play by Zirkzee to, release
Oh
Ahmad.
yeah, that ball, yeah. I think that was all because he managed to get a goal in the
Yeah.
first half. He was so confident after that, and
Yeah.
that ball to Ahmad was brilliant. And then it was Ahmad's show after that.
Things we love to see, right? I mean, a player coming back from not a great form, and we saw the team news, and we were very skeptical. Like, we didn't know what to expect from the game. But again, great piece of man management from Ruben Amorim. I think one thing which we saw in Erik ten Hag's era was a repetition of our, 11. I think
Yeah.
players used to get tired, and though all of it was not up to him because there were a lot of injuries he was dealing with. He was, working with a very thin squad, at least from the last year. But it's great to see that Ruben Amorim has all the tools in his hand and is using them very well.
But
To see,
there I would like to add that even though Erik Ten Hag didn't have some of these options, I don't think he was ballsy enough to take some of these calls.
Mhm,
Rashford had done decently in the lead up to the games in the striker position. Hoyland had just come back from a brace against in the previous game,
mhm,
and to start Zirkzee in that role, who hadn't been doing great, especially when you haven't won your game against Ipswich,
mhm,
it just
mhm,
goes on to show the confidence of the man. He's like, I have certain tactics in play. There are certain ideas, and it's not just one player that can fulfill those. But I think one
yeah,
thing that has emerged for me from there is that with Hoyland we will play differently, with Zirkzee we'll play differently. Because
yeah,
the average
yeah,
position was Zirkzee was close to that whatever nine and a half,
mid,
10 sort of a
yeah,
role
yeah,
that he likes
yeah,
himself to call, and both the number 10s were
yeah.
sort of ahead of him. Rashford
Ahead of
was
him.
the
That's correct.
leading one, so I think it will be interesting to see how this team copes up with when Hoyland is in play versus when how Zirkzee is in play, but that will be a good one to find out as we progress.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see how all the players are taking into the new tactics as well. And I think this also seeing so many different lineups across this time, it also gives us a good idea of how the team is shaping up.
Yeah,
And I think Ruben is also getting closer to how he wants to play. I'm pretty sure there's a long way to go before he actually sees a blueprint, Ruben
Yeah,
Amorim blueprint across. But yeah, he promised us an idea, and an idea we are seeing.
absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, this leads up to the next next game, which is the big one, possibly Amorim's biggest test so far against Arsenal at Emirates. What are your initial thoughts in the lead up to this one?
No, I'm not as good as we've been playing in the last 2, 3 games. Arsenal have been very good this season. They had a blip of form for a couple of games, 2, 3 games. That's why they are lingering in the second, third spot, very far from the first spot. That being said, Arsenal are a team who can hurt anyone.
Yeah,
Uh, they have quality players across the field. Their set pieces are a cheat code right now.
yeah,
They've been scoring so much on set pieces, and I don't have so much confidence that we can if we win, we'll be nicking a win, to be very honest. I don't think I can expect a dominant play here. That being said, I'm a very much of a believer. I'm a dreamer like Amorim. I believe in his X factor. I think he would have seen a lot of Arsenal plays, and I think he might just come up with a solution to, you know, get a
yeah.
result out of this game.
In this one, I'm expecting us to go toe to toe with Arsenal, and irrespective of the result, if we manage to do that, I will have my faith incrementally go up in Amorim. So, which is where I think it will be critical to how do we manage this. And you spoke about Arsenal's blip in form. I think they were facing a few tougher opponents, but I think their fixtures have gotten a little easier in the last couple of games, and Odegaard is back, and I think which is
Oh,
what
yeah.
is leading up to some of the difference that we are seeing in play. Their form in the last few months has been great. They beat Forest, which are a decent side in the Premier League at this point in time, 3-0. Then went on to Amorim's ex-club, which pretty much has a lot of ideas that Amorim plays with, beat them at their home 5-1. And then another 5 goals against West Ham away from home. So yeah, they are in solid form at this point in time.
Yeah, their bat form was down to some injuries. I
Yeah,
believe there were a couple of players injured, and there was some discipline issue also going on. But the first few games of the Premier League,
lot of
I
red
remember them
cards. Yeah.
getting red cards. Yeah, a couple of red cards at least. All the games there which they got red cards, so they lost. This just might be the key to win against
Against
them. Just
City,
get them.
against City, they
Yeah,
drew very close to nicking it 1-0, even with 10 men, but they
yeah,
ended up drawing. But
yeah. Against Brighton, I remember. Against City, I remember. And one more game, I can't remember. But yeah. Uh, this might be the key. Just get them down to 10 men and maybe then we can beat them. But I
yeah,
don't know. I mean, right now, the way they are playing, Saka is in the form of his life. Their defense is solid. Saliba and Gabriel are really touted to be the best, one of the best Premier League partnerships,
yeah, I would say
defensive
possibly
partnerships
the
in the
best
modern game.
partnership. As an individual, maybe Van
Yeah.
Dijk is better than both of them, but as a partnership, I think they're
Yeah.
possibly the best.
Yeah, Declan Rice, I feel, is the best player in his position in the Premier
And
League.
I
I
think
don't see a
Arteta
lot of
has
players.
reinvented him a little bit. He used to play that 6 role for West Ham. He plays more
Hmm.
of that 8 role when everybody is fit. So Party sits in that
Yeah, yeah,
destroyer sort of a
yeah,
role. So I think yeah, Arteta has done well with this team.
yeah. Declan Rice is also capable of playing that role. He has
Yeah,
a long shot on him. He does like to get forward. He does like to you know create chances at will.
yeah.
So he does have that in his locker as well.
Also, Arsenal at home have been a different beast altogether, right? Their XG
Hmm.
at home is close to 2.7, so you expect them to score 2 to 3 goals every game, and they don't concede much. Their XG conceded is less than 1. So it will be a tough one, and maybe let's spend a little time of how typically we have seen Arsenal play when in possession and when out of possession. And this snapshot that we have on the screen right now, which basically talks about the fact that when in possession, Arsenal go to a 3-3-4, where the three defenders, Calafiori in this case, ended up joining the midfield, and they had four attackers up front with two wingers stretching the defense wide, and then two attackers in the middle. So I somehow I'm not very comfortable with this against the Amorim system because it will leave a lot of spaces in midfield if our wing backs have to tug into the wide players of Arsenal. So I don't know how that will
No,
get
but
managed.
in the European game against Bodo Glimt, we did see how
We shifted to
he's flexible
4-4-2.
enough.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, we did shift when we were out of position, we were playing a sort of a 4-4-2 position. So I don't see Amorim system as the absolute truth right now. I think he
yeah.
himself has shown that he has the tactical flexibility to recognize in the game, and I'm pretty sure he'll be talking to his players. I think his selection will give us a much better idea of what his thinking is. But yeah, I think, of course, the attack four of Arsenal are very lethal in nature in the form that Saka can create chances from anywhere. Odegaard has a brilliant pass in him. Gabriel Jesus, Havertz, they have like Martinelli. Martinelli speed, I don't think we have anything to tackle that with.
Yeah.
The last time
And
also we played, he ran us amok.
and even Trossard is a good finisher. I have always, had a keen eye for him from his Brighton days, even from an FPL standpoint. But I think the 11 most likely from what I'm reading, it's going to be Havertz and Trossard instead of Jesus and Martinelli. So yeah, I think they have some mean finishers in that squad. It will be critical
I've
for,
seen a lot of
yeah,
I've seen a lot of Arsenal. Martinelli, when he comes at the 60th and 70th minutes, he's a beast because all your
tired.
defenders are usually tired and he runs straight on them, and he creates, he shoots. So brilliant player. By the way, Martinelli, I don't know if you know that he had about 2 to 3 trials at United.
Oh, no, I didn't know
Yeah,
about that.
he was rejected twice or thrice. He has a lot of pictures with Paul Pogba uh, in the academy, and I don't know, man. I mean, this is a very head scratcher for me that a player of that pedigree, how did we let him go? Because we have seen him grow from strength to strength. Like I am not exaggerating when I say Martinelli is Arsenal's Garnacho.
Possibly, but then it's a difficult one to say. Our academy has always had a lot of good players. Do you want to add another player who, at that point in time when they're evaluating him, may not necessarily make the jump? And I think he would have had to come from another club at that point in time. So
3 trials, man, 3 trials. We
I
couldn't
don't know.
evaluate him for three, and then he goes on to do a number against us
Maybe
in
he was having
Arsenal.
a bad trial. I don't know. Could
Yeah,
could be
performance
anything.
pressure. Yeah.
Could be. We are the biggest club for a reason. So yeah, you never know. But
Yep.
how things will be when we are attacking is Arsenal will again revert to a 4-3-3, which is their usual formation. And
Mm-hmm.
it happened in the game against West Ham. The screenshot is from just when Bissaka went on to score that goal. They over-index on their right, which is where the
Mm-hmm.
Odegaard Saka combination plays a lot. So if you can win a ball
Mm-hmm.
there, suddenly you might find a lot of spaces on United's right, which is where
Mm-hmm.
the likes of Rashford and Ahmad combining on the right could be critical. So I think that might be an important phase for us in transition, because obviously dominating Arsenal on possession, I don't know how much of that will be possible. So maybe Amorim takes a leaf out of Ole's book, sometimes Eric Ten Hag's book as well, and focuses
Mm-hmm.
a little bit on the transition as well. Do you think we could expect some of that?
No, definitely. See, the last few games against Arsenal in the previous years when Arsenal have been dominating have been all about taking our chances. I don't believe we'll get a lot of chances in this one. That is where our attackers have to step up and make every chance count. I don't think we'll be, creating a lot of chances is in this one. And Ahmad, Rashford, Højlund, if he starts, these three have to be on their toes and, ready to shoot. They have to shoot as much as possible, and they have
Yeah.
to unnerve their defense and, make the presses. We already saw how great Ahmad was during the weekend, how great he was at pressing. So more of the same, and I think we might be able to make an opening.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Ahmad earlier as well, but I just love the lad. I mean, he just follows the ball. And I think the fact that he is relatively smaller in height as compared to other typical other footballers in the Premier League, I think his center of gravity is low, and he just has a very good sort of control. Almost like, I think I'll go too far to compare him to Messi, but in that aspect of being relatively shorter, I
Hmm.
think a lower center of gravity, he can just maneuver some very neat touches and passes, which is what I love about him. And his intelligence, I think,
Oh
is
yeah,
beyond any other winger that we have in our squad. I think Garnacho needs to learn a lot from Ahmad there. In this
yeah.
game itself, there were possibly 2 to 3 instances where he could have taken a shot on and our attack would have finished. But he decided to be selfless, played for the team. That pass to Zirkzee, I think there was another one in the first half. I think he's a proper team player, and I'm really like yeah, him in the team, and him and Mazarawi are at this point in time my favorite players in the team.
No, no, 100% agree. I don't remember Ahmad having a bad game for us. In fact, from his debut, which was against AC Milan, I remember like, we won that game 1-0 and it was an Ahmad goal only. It was a brilliant floating ball by Bruno. And you know how he scored? He scored with a back header. He scored with the back of his head against Donnarumma.
Yeah,
I was very excited, but that didn't translate that didn't translate into him getting minutes beyond of that game.
yeah,
But he had brilliant spells in Sunderland. He came back and uh, Amorim mentioned that Ruud built him, and
yeah,
he's reaping the benefits of that. I think that was a very sweet gesture by a manager, tipping his hat off to this previous manager. Maybe a dig at Eric Ten Hag for not starting him as much as he should have.
yeah,
But then I think I discussed this with you, and I really like the way Amorim is managing minutes of the squad, and
yeah.
would want to see more of Ahmad, definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we spoke a lot about Ahmad and how he could bombard Arsenal's left wing. Let's talk about some of the other key battles as well. Saka plus Odegaard against our left-sided defense mechanism, whether it is the left wing back, left center back, and the left-sided midfielder. I think that is going to be Arsenal's modus operandi, like number one to try and get a goal. What do you think? Without Menu, without Martinez, will we be able to cope up with it?
Yeah, sad not to have those in the team. They are the two intelligent players who know how to work with space, and Arsenal do exploit all the pockets. Since Odegaard has come in, he's back into the goals, he's back into the assists. The
Yeah,
man just sniffs out a space. He is working like 2 3 steps ahead of others. So we do need all the intelligence, or if not intelligence, all the brute force we can get there. Like whoever is covering Odegaard has to be on his toes. I really hope our midfield is sorted for this one. But yeah, you mentioned the defense part of it. Uh, we don't know who starts there, but whoever it is has to track, Saka's movement to the T.
yeah,
Otherwise, we'll have a long evening in front of us.
yeah. But it's quite possible that whoever plays left wing back in this one, they are tasked with not really going forward a lot, but just
Hmm.
marking the hell out of Saka. So
Yeah,
that will be critical. You spoke about set pieces. They have been amazing on set pieces. I think what 7 out of their 26 goals have been through set pieces, which I don't know the stats of other teams, but seems much higher than typically what is the
100%.
record. So, and which is where the likes of Gabriel, Saliba become critical. Gabriel has a he's in my field team. I look forward to him. Typically, look forward to him getting some points as a attacker as well. And he does do that quite often, and which happens from their corners. They, I think, are really well drilled on the set pieces.
Oh yeah, I mean, you mentioned the two players, Saka, Gabriel. It's usually a Saka cross and a Gabriel header, but
Correct.
I have seen the movement of other players. I saw Timber in this game, and he had the other two defenders so engrossed with this physical battle that Gabriel actually had the space to run in and do his thing. So, all of them are very well drilled.
Yeah.
But you know, I think our set pieces are improving definitely. I think in the past 5-10 odd games, I've seen a few goals for us coming from corners. In the game against Everton, it was well documented that it was a training routine from Bruno to Marcus Rashford, which led to a goal. So, I get the how Arsenal are getting all the plaudits for set pieces, but I do believe we can also do a number on them.
Let's see. Hopefully, we are able to, because and even if we are not able to score, as long as we are able to contain them on the set pieces, I think I'll be happy enough. I'm happy to get a goal in transition and nick it. Uh, Talking about the midfield battle, we don't know who starts for United in this one. We have a sense it will be Ugarte. We'll discuss the possible 11 as well. But I think the with Odegaard moving forward, the combo of Partey and Rice, I think they are both good at stopping the team for opposition from progressing, and which is where I think our progressors will have to navigate the likes of Bruno, and if Mount is there, or if Rashford, Garnacho are playing in that 10 spot, I think that will be critical.
Yeah, this is where I think Ruben Amorim's tactical flexibility comes into place. We saw this in the second half against Bodo Glimt, how Diogo Dalot fitted in the
Yeah,
midfield. So maybe making up more numbers in the midfield might win us that battle. But yeah, I mean, we do expect Ugarte to do a number on Odegaard and Rice. It would involve a lot of running, which
yeah,
the guy is well equipped to do. But whoever partners him, be it a Casemiro, be it a Bruno, has the job for making the ball move forward as soon as possible and taking it from out of that black hole that is Rice and Partey.
absolutely, absolutely. And now I think let's get into some of these key battles will become critical with the players that are or the personnel that are in those spots. And in the last three ones, we have seen how Amorim has been rotating. He spoke about the fact that in the first three games, pretty much everybody has started. I think except for Shaw, everybody has started. And I think Shaw is a little bit related to building the fitness and all. And Euro obviously hasn't been in the squad. By the way, he mentioned in the presser that Euro will be involved and will be in the squad, so I think that's a good sign. But based on this, how do you see the 11 playing out for the starting 11 against Arsenal? Onana is
Yeah, I mean,
obviously,
it's
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
go
Onana
on.
is a given. I said it's beautiful to see that how all the players are being given their chance to impress the new management, and it's beautiful to see how we've been able to manage these minutes. Of course, under Eric Ten Hag, so was not the case. The man was dealing with injuries for the last 1.5 years or so. He never had the full squad at his
Yeah,
disposal. But that being said, it's very nice to see more than a couple of combinations. For example, Zirkzee coming in and scoring 2 goals. It
correct.
gives a manager a
Option.
new option to play, so yeah, I mean, Onana obviously makes the cut. I believe Mazurai is one player who I don't think we should even talk about him being.
Yeah.
I think he's a given in the starting 11. Dillit will also be starting.
And both of
uh,
them, he took off in the weekend game to
True.
preserve for the Arsenal game, so that was a clear sign enough.
Yeah.
And with regard to left centre back, I think is a place where it will be critical to see who starts. What do you think? Whether it
Yeah,
will be Maguire or Shaw?
Based on fitness, both are coming back from injuries. But yeah, Shaw has seen more of game time and is more agile and can get the long ball also through. So Shaw is someone who can make that long ball to your Garnachos, your Rashford. He has that ball into him. Usually the long balls of Maguire are to the wingers, or not they're not goal scoring chances, but yeah, he does know how to shift the focus on the game. So I hope it's Shaw on that
Yeah,
position and
even
not
I think
Maguire.
so with the left-footed player being there, and I think Delict and Maguire are players of similar profile, and having them as two of the three centre backs may
Yeah.
not work out that well. So yeah, let's see. Most likely it is Shaw. Then on the wings, who do you think?
Yeah, Ahmad is a given. I think he has shown in the previous games he can press, he can defend, he can bombard forward and create those chances for us. I don't believe, from the midfield we'll be able out to eke out a lot of chances. So it's the wings, which will wing back position, which becomes even more important to create
Is
chances
there
for
any
us.
question of rotation there, given Ahmad started the previous one? Or no, it's an
I
Arsenal game.
I don't think. I think we have to start our best 11 in this game.
Agree.
I do believe Ahmad gets a shoe in ahead of Anthony and I don't know. Dalo also hasn't been another brilliant in
No,
his
the
brilliant
only
form.
other combination will be Dalot probably is relatively better on the right than left. So Dalot starting
Yeah.
right and maybe likes of Malaysia or Shaw if he has to play wing. I don't know.
I don't see Malaysia starting this one. Malaysia made a lot of mistakes in the last one. I think it'll be some time till we see Malaysia. Maybe they get some minutes from the bench, but I don't expect to see Malaysia there. I We might see Dalo on one of the wings and Ahmad, which will be consistent with the kind of formation we've been seeing with one attacking fullback and one defending fullback.
Yeah,
Although it will be very far to say that Dalo is a defending fullback considering the fact that he spends most of his time in the midfield. But then again,
yeah,
he's an intelligent player and knows when to track back. Maybe
yeah.
not been in the best of his forms, but that can change anytime. If one thing Dalo has shown us, it is that he can return from bad form
That is
into
true.
back into the
And I
manager's team.
think
Yeah,
Amorim likes the work ethic of the guy. So maybe there is merit in starting him in this one, especially where
yeah,
you will need to run a
Portuguese
lot.
connection.
Yeah. Let's for the remaining five spots. I think Ugarte is a clear for both of
Yeah,
us there. For the remaining four,
yeah,
let's look at them together because there are a few combinations that can come through. What I at
yeah.
least thought was that Casemiro, Bruno uh, could be either of them could start that number eight sort of a role. Given we might need to have a little more solidity, it might be Casemiro and then Bruno taking the number 10 spot, which will leave the other number 10 spot to Garnacho and between Rashford and Hoyland starting up front. Uh, I think Hoyland holds the ball better, but Rashford, I think, is much lethal finisher when in form. So it will be a tricky one, but the other combo could obviously similar to what we saw in the Europa League. Bruno moving into that number eight spot as a progressor, Rashford, Garnacho, and Hoyland all three starting. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think the second combination is a bit. I'd still have a bit of a PTSD from Casemiro starting in the midfield for the Liverpool game. The
Yeah.
man made two mistakes and it led to two goals. I mean, don't want to
But
hold
at
it
least
against
he's
him. He
defensive
has
minded, no? Bruno will probably end up taking that number 10 spot also naturally at times, which might leave Ugarte pretty much all by himself.
not true, but I think Bruno is a lot more agile than
Hmm.
Casemiro. He can escape the press. He's a bit more press resistant and he can progress the ball better from there. He can see the runs of the number
I,
10s and
it, in my opinion, it will also come down to how much respect Amorim is playing, giving this Arsenal team. If he starts Casemiro and Ugarte both, it will go on to show that he's being a little wary and a little careful of this Arsenal team.
I mean, respect is a must to this team. They have been doing well since the last 2.5 years. Coming second for 3 years straight is a achievement. It's the best trophy Arsenal can hope for. Evra very famously said that Arsenal are a Netflix season. They're always a next season for them. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there'll be any lack of respect from Amorim.
Yeah,
That being said, I think we should put our best foot forward, and I believe Bruno makes in our best team. In the number 10s, of course, I think Garnacho was rested for this game. Garnacho, we should be seeing. So was Hoyland.
yeah,
I believe our best 11 should have Hoyland in it. He holds the ball well. He's been in good form, scored very good two goals against Bodo Glimt. And yeah, I think he pretty much sums up how a modern number nine should be playing. Of course, he has had his blips in form, but I think with this system, he's getting much more service than he was in the
agree,
previous system.
agree.
So yeah.
So yeah, let's see how that plays out. Quickly talking about how all of this might impact the lineup, the Premier League table. We are 6 points behind Arsenal. There's a possibility to close that gap. I don't want to delve in too much into what could be the outcome and how much of that gap will be. But yeah, it's tightly packed, and we have a better goal difference than Man City. So
Yeah, I mean, the we talk about rival watch. Can't believe Liverpool is wrapping up the Premier League title in the
well,
month
last
of
week you
December,
said
man.
it's early. So yeah, let's go with that. We don't want Liverpool to be running away with this. Hopefully they have a blip in their form as well.
The beat, I mean, okay, I mean, City are already dead. They're still, killing City at the ground, and really good game that was to see. And
True.
of course, Salah is in the top-notch form of his life. Great to see City lose again. As much as I thought that City should be winning that one for some entertainment to be there in the top spots. It was good to see City lose another game of football.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, quickly, what do you think is the projected score for this one? Where do you see the Arsenal United
I
game?
think 1-1
What do you
draw.
hope that score?
1-1 draw for
1-1
me.
draw? All right. I'd want us to eke out a very hardly fought 1-0 victory.
I'm just being a little
But
practical, I guess.
I am a dreamer, so
Let's see. Let's see. Hope we go on to win this. But I think not losing this will be a good one in itself. Great. So I think with that, we come to the end of this pod. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hopefully, United can eke out a win, as Dheeraj put it, and we go on to climb the Premier League table higher and higher. Do share it with your friends. And yes, this is our perch. Let's knock him off. Until next time, stay united.